All right, here we are again. My name is Matt, and let's get going with another stock speedrun. As always, if you've never seen one of these videos before, I strongly encourage you to check this video's description for an explanation and a disclaimer as to its content. Let us see what kind of crazy company we have today. Okay, all right. I guess I hyped this up a little bit too much. Microsoft's not really all that crazy. In fact, it's probably one of the most vanilla companies that you can possibly land on. You know, no crazy startups, no weird kind of something. No, it's just Microsoft. I think, unless you've been living under a rock for the last 30 years, I'm sure that you know what Microsoft is. I don't need to explain, but even for those that you do, if you have crawled out from under a rock, the very first thing that you did is you booted up a computer, went to this channel, look at this video, and now you're wondering what Microsoft is. Well, that's okay. We can go ahead and explain it. I honestly don't even know why I'm scrolling down here, because I know what it is. It's a software company. It makes operating systems. It makes it has cloud offerings. It makes a variety of useful programs for your computer, including Office, Exchange, SharePoint. I worked on SharePoint before. Holy shit. I won't get into that. Microsoft Teams, Office Security, Microsoft Viva, Skype for Business, and Skype, which is apparently different things. Outlook, OneDrive, LinkedIn. Actually, I did not know that they own LinkedIn. That's a thing. And then they have cloud stuff, like SQL, like all of SQL. They own it. Holy shit. Windows Server, Visual Studio, System Center. I know they do. I know they're into a lot of gaming sectors. Also, they obviously have the Xbox. I think they own Bethesda now. That's something that happened in the past year or so. I don't know what other studios they own. If I remember right, there was a bid a while ago where they were trying to buy Blizzard, or am I just imagining that? I feel like I'm imagining that. They tried to buy Activision Blizzard. Is that not a thing that happened? Why am I remembering that's a thing that happened? Maybe it's a instance of the Mandela effect, but I could have sworn that was a thing at one point. Anyway, so they do a lot of stuff dealing with computers and technology and all of the bits and bytes and fancy stuff that people like to play with a lot. Question is, how well are they doing it? Well, pretty damn well, based on these charts that I see here. Extremely impressive. Now, this looks really good. Yeah. Question is, can they keep this up? And the answer that I have, without literally looking at nothing, is yeah, probably. I don't see why not. Technology is hot right now. Question is the chart following... Get this ad out of here. Is the chart following this trend? Not since 2021 it hasn't, but then again, market has been shaky for everybody this past year and a half roughly. See what I want to look at. Surely they pay a dividend. Yes, they do. A surprisingly measly dividend, actually. I would have expected more out of this company. And also, I know there's been a lot of technology layoffs also. Has Microsoft laid off a number of people? I don't think that I have heard their name mentioned when people rattle off lists of companies that have let people go. Lists of tech companies that have let people go. Microsoft Activate. See? I wasn't imagining it! I knew that was a thing! I knew... I knew that I was not crazy. Is expected to gain approval from European Union regulators for a $69 billion Activision Blizzard deal. Yeah, I did not just invent that. That is apparently a real thing, and they got European Union approval. They have approval in the United States? That I don't know. Let's see. Actually, yeah. Speaking of AI, weren't they going to buy ChatGPT at one point? Weren't they going to buy ChatGPT at one point? Actually, you know what would be a really cool idea if at the end of this video I ask ChatGPT what it thinks about Microsoft stock. I am a very, very smart man. Could hear a regulatory hurdle, which it just did. Licensing. Looking more likely. You know what I want to look at? Because if it purchases Activision Blizzard, that's going to be a fairly large portion of its gaming business, larger than Bethesda. I don't know what they bought Bethesda for. And again, I feel like that's something that I'm not just misremembering, but I'm pretty sure they did. What they bought Bethesda for, I don't think it was $69 billion. So just based on valuation alone, Activision Blizzard is going to be a much larger sector of their gaming portion than the other large acquisition that I am aware of, which is Bethesda Game Studios. So that's going to be a very large portion of the gaming business. You know what? I kind of want to see how. You know what I want to see? I want to see how Activision Blizzard. I can't open that new window. No, that's not allowed. Okay. Because if they're doing well, then I think that Microsoft is making a good decision to purchase this. But if they're not, and I don't know what this 2020 numbers are here about, but it's not looking great. I do kind of wonder why. Also, $69 billion. It's just slightly above. Slightly above. And if that news came out today about this deal, Friday, March 3rd, I'm kind of surprised that Activision Blizzard did not immediately rocket to $69 billion valuation on that news, because it is looking very likely. Maybe investors in here know something that we don't. I'm actually going to sneak into looking at Activision Blizzard real quick. Here would be the final nail in the coffin of regulatory overreach. Sony signs a long-term deal with Microsoft prior to April, as Nintendo and Nvidia have already done. So, Sony must see the writing on the wall. Sony does not want to show up in U.S. court and deliver all these internal requests by Microsoft. What does Sony have to do with this? What does any kind of deal between Sony and Microsoft have anything to do with their acquisition of Blizzard? The reason is that Microsoft are playing hardball. They are not going to make material concessions. Logic is that regulatory agencies block the deal. Microsoft is confident of winning in court. Yeah, that's very possible. Okay, let me go back to Microsoft. So it's a big mature company. I have a few unanswered questions that I'm going to get to in phase 2. I want to know if I had any layoffs recently. I want to know a little bit more about... What else do I want to know a little bit more about? Not really much. I mean, this is a company where I can't talk. Their reputation precedes them. So I'm almost at a loss of things to talk about, because my opinion of them is made up, and I'm sure the opinion of everyone else is already made. Just scrolling through here to see if there's anything that captures my attention. They're bringing fiber to Africa. Very cool. Let's see. La 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 la. Microsoft stock hits 225, then buy. Can you explain that logic, please? I'd like to know that logic. They had a good quarter 3. Had a very good quarter 3, apparently. And it's a company, it's Microsoft. So I'm sure that their expectations were already through the roof, and they apparently still beat them. Fourth quarter, a copy of this. What the hell is this? A quarter. This isn't an earnings report. What the hell is this shit? Beating its big tech rivals, and it comes to capitalizing on blah blah blah. I'm seeing a lot of opinion pieces in here. I'm not used to that. I guess I'm not used to looking at that actually has so much attached to it. Enable stock to re-hit its all-time highs. Plus, Microsoft integrates AI features in not just. Oh, that's right. I forgot about Bing. I guess everyone forgets about Bing. Could re-accelerate all-time highs back to that. So you know what? I want to know Microsoft layoffs. Microsoft layoffs. Free. Another 10 companies have laid off more than continues to previously announced. Okay, so they are not excluded from layoffs. They're losing their jobs as part of the 10,000 layoffs announced by the company on January 18th. That's a big number. If I go back here to Yahoo, usually it tells me how many employees they have. Well, first of all, that's a crap ton of employees. And 10,000 is... No, let's go ahead and do some overall sluggish revenue. Oh, whoa! Profits dropped 7%. Not counting 1.2 billion charge rates to the cutbacks. Second largest workforce reduction in Microsoft's history. Okay, I was mistaken. Microsoft is not excluded from these waves of layoffs. And you know what? I don't think people realize how much money that actually is that they're saving. I'm going to make the assumption that these are, tech people, software developers and designers and whatnot like that, and they didn't just, fire 10,000 janitors. So I'm going to work on that assumption, and let me get my calculator up because I want to do this real quick. So I think it's safe to say that a pretty average salary for a software developer, especially at a big name like Microsoft, is probably around 150. So if I take that, I times it by 10,000, that's a savings of $1.5 billion a year. In fact, if this number is not counting a $1.2 billion charge related to the cutbacks, I'm confused, but it seems that this sentence is implying that this is what they're saving due to the cutbacks, but this word charge here is confusing me a little bit. It would imply that they're losing that money as opposed to saving that money via the cutbacks. I don't really understand what this sentence is trying to say. But based on my quick maths here, based on my quick maths, $1.5 billion in savings, on average, that's a lot of money. I mean, it's a drop in the bucket for general. Well, maybe not a drop in the bucket, because let's say all of that extra money goes into earnings. 7.2 versus bumps it up to 74, which actually I guess isn't really all that much. But hey, if you feel like you could function without them, then it may sound very heartless to say, but more power to you, I guess. Let's see, what else do I want to see? I want to read the conversation section real quick. I want to see what people are saying in here. Hello, Peanut Gallery. What do you got for me? Show me newest. Okay, that's extremely not helpful. Started weak and ended 2.5. Some people are investing in Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. Considering just doing more to the Microsoft portfolio instead of ETFs, they are not going anywhere. True, they're not going anywhere. Buy Blizzard already, says Joe. I did not give you a thumbs down, by the way. I don't know who you're talking to. The way Activision has been acting, my guess is more people are counting on a buyout. Microsoft offered 95 per share? That math does not, well, maybe it does. No, yes? Maybe? I don't know. Potential huge separation. Roughly 1 year ago, Microsoft was a 300 company, was great than it is now. I actually agree with that. I feel like the reason why a company like this would even be down from the all-time highs would be just general market trend. You know what? I want to ChatGPT. I've actually never done this before. Like, how do I talk to it? Try JetG. Oh, I gotta log in. Bullshit. Alright. Alright, so we can't ask. I didn't know you had to make an account. We can't ask ChatGPT what it thinks of Microsoft. That makes me extremely sad. Yeah, so I don't think I need ChatGPT to tell me. Microsoft is a mature, well-established company, a blue chip, if you will. That's what they're called, right? Blue chips? Blue stocks, blue chips, whatever. It's a good company. I don't think... You don't need me to sit here and tell you that. Now, I'm not saying that good companies can't turn around and turn into shit companies. They absolutely 100% can, but it's rarely on a dime. And for Microsoft to not be a buy would require it to turn on a dime, which is not friggin' happening anytime soon. You're out of your mind. But you know what? I'm just gonna stop rambling, hit that buy button. What is going on here? Minus 52 rating from Microsoft. Really? That's interesting. That's interesting. You know, I am wishing now that it would be possible to see why it has a rating of minus 52. But I don't know if that's possible. I also find this number suspect. There's no way it's thought of that negatively in general social media, and I kind of wonder if this number is caught up in people complaining about Microsoft tools, you know, saying, "Oh, Office deleted my work. How that's stupid." Because I've actually looked into the way that this rating works, and I feel bad to rag on the service where I pull these ratings from because it is an extremely unique and useful service, but their method of rating, in my opinion, is flawed somewhat, because what they do is, at least as far as I can tell, because I've looked at a few of their rankings because I get them in my inbox every day. I've looked at a few of them, and you can click on them, and it will show you. Actually, that's right. I forgot. You can click on them. We're gonna do a little bit of exploring right now. So the service that I use to get these numbers is called Social Sentiment. Here we are. Let's see. Maybe I have to log in. I do actually have an account. Let me go ahead and do that. Because I want to see... So, what I was trying to explain... And let me see if I can explain this and also type in usernames and passwords at the same time. What I wanted to explain was that their method of determining what is positive and what is negative about a stock is somewhat flawed, because all it takes to get a positive sentiment or add a drop of positive sentiment, for example, is to mention the company in a tweet or some kind of social media post or whatever, and literally anything positive about that company. It doesn't even need to be related to what you think their stock performance is going to be, just literally anything positive. And depending on the name of the company, sometimes it gets a lot of false positives and false negatives, because let's say the name of your company is, Let's see. What is a name of a company that has a very generic word in it? You know what? Blizzard. Activision Blizzard. Activision is not a normal word. Blizzard is. Let's say there was a let's say there was a bad storm. Let's say there was a bad storm in Northeast United States. A lot of people got snowed in. It was a blizzard, you would say. Everyone's pissed. This blizzard came here, dumped a whole shitload of snow that everyone's got to clean up now and deal with. And everyone goes to social media and tip-taps on their keyboards complaining about the blizzard. It's going to pick that up. It's going to pick that up and register it as talking about Activision Blizzard. And it's going to bring the sentiment of Activision Blizzard down. So it's not terribly smart. Now, a company like Microsoft is not a regular word that you come around and see very often. You're not going to run into someone complaining about Microsoft and it not being an instance of the company. However, just because someone is talking positively or negatively about Microsoft may not be them talking positively or negatively about the investment opportunities of Microsoft, for example. Like, let's say someone was working at an office and all of a sudden their computer caught on fire. I don't know. And they lost all their work that they were working on. They're going to be pissed. Let's say that person goes to Twitter and types in, I was working on Microsoft Office and all of a sudden my computer exploded and now I'm mad. It's going to take that. It's going to recognize the word Microsoft. And it's going to understand that the general sentiment of the tweet was negative. And it's going to say, oh man, this means this person doesn't think well of Microsoft. And I guess falsely implies that the person doesn't think positively of Microsoft in a investment scenario. But no, they were just raving about them working on Office and then they lost their work. So that's why, in my opinion, it's not. I don't want to say not as smart as it's advertised as, because I don't want to accuse them of anything. But it's not as smart as you would expect. Okay, so I have logged in here. And as you can see, in fact, I don't think I've been on this page before. You can see a bunch of, I didn't know Funko was its own company. Holy shit. Anyway, so yeah, so you can come in here, you can take a look at the general sentiment of companies from day to day. As you can see, it varies greatly from day to day. For example, for these couple days, excuse me, Amazon was kind of teetering back and forth between positive and negative, and all of a sudden, no, everyone hates it for these 4 days. Apparently people like this one. People like Costco too, although I have friends that basically belong to a Costco cult. I never quite understood it. You know, I have never needed a 40-pound container of anything in my life that I can think of. So I kind of don't get the whole idea behind Costco. But hey, if you do, more more power to you. All right. Anyway, what was I going to look for? I was going to look for Microsoft Corporation. Very interesting. So, can I expand this? I want to see last 30 days. Very, very interesting. So, in fact, you know what? I want to do a little bit of research here. I know that this isn't really the focus of my videos, but I kind of want to go on this journey now, and I want to bring you with me. So, Microsoft sentiment seems to be fairly positive usually, or at least teeters back and forth between slightly positive and slightly negative. However, I'm noticing 5 numbers here, 5 days that have massive outliers. I'm going to say this one here, which I believe is February 10th, maybe? This is 8, and this is 11, 8, 9, 11, yeah. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, blah, 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 and then over here to what must be today, March 4th. So I'm kind of curious. So obviously this rating that I was given for -52, that's for this past day. That's this here, which is unusual, fairly unusual for Microsoft. If I had done this speedrun yesterday, I would have gotten a much more positive rating. Again, it varies from day to day. In fact, sentiment volatility. Oh, I gotta get these fancy these fancy features here now. So you know what I want to do here? I want to research what happened to Microsoft on February 10th. Nothing really that I can see. Or maybe that was a day of earnings. No, that definitely would have popped up here. Or no. Okay, different idea. Maybe this was the day before earnings. Massive positive spike as everyone has their expectations through the roof, and maybe expectations don't really work out. So everyone is shit talking Microsoft the next day. I want to see what happened to it on February 11th. Maybe I gotta type in news. I don't really see. I'm not seeing anything. Okay, but what about this day? Is that the 15th? February 15th. Top. Ooh. Okay. Here's something. 2023 announcement. Yes, February 15th. What? Try something else. This. New timelines and important actions to secure the partner ecosystem. Surely, people weren't hating on this article. It sounds extremely boring, and because of that, I'm not going to read through it. Priceless data update to unit of. Can I click on these and what? Notable Microsoft social media post. Sony might be forced to reveal how much it pays to keep games off Xbox Game Pass. Ooh, that might be the Sony interaction that commenter was talking about. Official requests to ban selling Atomic Heart game. I do believe neither of these businesses support bloody regime murders or romanticizing communism. Not goddamn commies! So, you know what? This is a good example of a tweet that mentions Microsoft and got caught up in the negative sentiment, but arguably has nothing to do, because you see, it even says negative post. but arguably has nothing to do with the actual performance of the company. And then this one here, negative post. It's literally just talking about releases, a release for a new game. But the fact that it mentioned Xbox Game Pass, oh nope, negative review from Microsoft. And this one too, after Microsoft powerful AI chatbot verbally attacked people, the company has decided to rein on the technology until it works out the kinks, and even compared one person to Hitler. Now, leave it alone. It's just learning the rules of the internet. But again, negative post that arguably has nothing to do with the actual performance of the company. So this is, and again, this is just some guy complaining about. Actually, I'm surprised it identified this as a positive post, because if I just look at this sentence, I would have assumed this was a negative, especially when we talk about Hogwarts Legacy. We'll love to bitch and moan about that game. And I'm surprised it rated this as a positive post. But then again, I honestly don't know what the sentiment was. He's saying this game is unbelievable, or is he saying this game is unbelievable? I don't know. And you know what? We'll never know. Anyway, so that's kind of what I wanted to get across, that sometimes these ratings can be flawed, and it seems like the -52 is just for today. I'll be interested to see what this looks like for the next couple days, if this negative trend persists. Maybe it's due to the news about Activision. I don't know. Probably not. Again, you've seen examples of negative posts that arguably are not really negative in the way that we care about. So whatever, you know what, I've rambled on enough after the fact. I don't even know how long this video is going to be, but if you stayed this long to listen to my nonsense, thank you so much. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.